Feel free to join me in any kind of easy seated shape that feels good today. Sitting up nice and tall, roll the shoulders down away from the ears, softening across the forehead, on the scalp, at the corners of the eyes, the ears, the jaw, letting the shoulders get nice and heavy, all the way down the arms to the fingers, down the spine to the legs, all the way to the toes. Continue breathing in and out through the nose, slow and steady like waves. And whenever you're ready, go ahead and open the eyes. If there are any props that you usually incorporate into your practice, feel free to grab them. You are welcome always to use any props that you'd like. Sitting up nice and tall, have a big breath in, roll those shoulders back and down, and on the exhale, let the chin come towards the chest. Inhale, left ear to left shoulder, roll the right shoulder down. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, right ear to right shoulder, roll the left shoulder down. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, left. Exhale, center. Inhale, right. Exhale, center. Inhaling the crown of the head right back up. I'm going to bring the arms in line with the shoulders. Hands up and out. Drop the shoulders down away from the ears. Imagine pressing your hands into stacks of books or blocks and reaching out from the midpoint. Spread the fingers wider on the breath in. On the exhale, bring the thumb and the pinky towards each other and spread those middle three fingers out just a little wider. Next inhale, rotate up. Exhale back. Inhaling up and exhaling back. One more. Inhale up and exhale back. Inhale up, open those palms up, reach the arms up. Look up, roll the shoulders down away from the ears. Keep the shoulders over the hips. Be careful we're not pressing the belly forward. Imagine stacking wrists over elbows, over shoulders, over hips. On the exhale, rotate the palms away from each other. Sweep the arms out. Bring the hands back down in line with the shoulders. You can tuck the chin towards the chest. Inhaling up. Exhaling open. Inhaling up. And exhaling open. One more here. Inhaling up. And on the exhale, we come into a seated twist to the left. Left hand comes down to the floor, right arm reaches across the body. On the breath in, imagine getting a little taller. On the exhale, soften or deepen, looking back over the left shoulder. Stay soft in the low back, low belly. On the next breath in, bring the heart space forward. Leave that right hand on the left knee. Bring the left hand to the right knee. Fill all the way up. And on the exhale, I'm going to round back. Tuck the chin towards the chest. You can kind of crawl the fingers forward. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Draw the belly button back towards the spine. Imagine kind of a cat shape here. Really rounding the spine, getting a big stretch on the back side of the body. On the next breath in, slowly sit up, uncross the arms, bring the hands back out in line with the shoulders, reaching the fingers away from your midline. Imagine pressing into stacks of books, stacking shoulders over the hips. Low back is supported by the core. Big breath in. On the exhale, bring the thumb and the pinky in, spread the middle three fingers wider. On the inhale, rotate the palms up, feeling that rotation all the way into the shoulder, into the rotator cuff. Exhaling back, keeping the hands in line with the shoulders, inhaling up. And exhaling back. One more. Inhale up and exhale back. Inhale up, open those palms up, reach up. Exhale, spin the palms away from each other, reach those hands back out. Tuck the chin towards the chest if you'd like. Inhaling up. Exhaling open. Inhaling up. Exhaling open. One more. Inhaling up. On the exhale, we come into a seated twist to the right. Right hand down, left arm comes across the body. On the breath in, imagine getting taller. On the exhale, imagine softening or deepening. You can bend that right elbow to kind of lean into it, and you might look back over that right side. Stay really nice and soft in the low belly, low back. On the next breath in, bring the heart space forward. Take the right hand to the left knee. Inhale, sitting up tall. Fill all the way up. Exhale, rounding back. You might crawl the fingers forward, round the spine, drop the shoulders away from the ears, draw the belly button towards the back. Big stretch on the back and side to side across the shoulders. On the next breath in, slowly sitting up, bring the hands back to the knees and stay for the breath out. I'm going to sit cross-legged with the right leg in front. I'm going to take the hands above the knees, so I'm not pressing on the knee joint with the fingers turned out. Start pressing into the legs. Imagine creating a little space between each vertebrae. We're just trying to lengthen the spine and the upper body here. Your arms may not straighten all the way, and that's totally fine. But I'm pressing into the legs, sitting up tall, big breath in. Right leg is in front. On the exhale, I'm going to lean to the left. I might leave that left hand where it is. I might bring the left elbow to the leg or even the hand to the floor. I'm just pressing into that right side, getting heavy in the right leg, and really lengthening up and out through the crown of the head. Big breath in. On the exhale, I'm going to look over that left shoulder, bringing the stretch up the right side of the neck. On the next breath in, bring the face forward, take your left hand back to the leg. I'm going to draw the heart space forward and to the right. Exhale, rounding back. Inhaling forward and exhaling back. A little bit of movement to warm us up. Back, shoulders, hips, wrists, knees, a little bit of everything. If you find some spot that feels like a really good stretch, of course, feel free to kind of hang out there for an extra breath or two. Maybe we get a little creative and explore. Whenever you are ready, come back to center. Switching the cross on the legs, take the left leg in front. We're going to take that on the second side, bringing the hands above the knees, fingers turned out. Pressing into the legs, imagine lengthening the upper body, lengthening the spine. Big breath in. And on the exhale, I'm going to lean to the right. I might bring the right elbow to the leg or even the hand to the floor. Gently pressing into that left side. Imagine like getting heavier and heavier on the right leg, right hip, right knee, and kind of lengthening up and out from your seat. Big breath in, get taller. On the exhale, look over the right shoulder, bringing that stretch up the left side of the neck. Try to keep the heart space square to me as opposed to like down to the right. On the next breath in, bring the face forward, take the right hand back to the leg. We draw the heart space forward and to the left. Exhale, rounding back. Inhaling forward and exhaling back. When you feel about even, we'll come back to center. And take the feet into a butterfly shape. If you bring the feet closer in towards the hips, you'll feel this more on the groin or inner thighs. If you press the feet a little further away, you should feel it more on like the hamstrings, back of the hips, maybe like the QL a little bit. If you would like more of a hip opener here, elevate the feet. Sitting up tall, find your neutral. Shoulders are over the hips, spine is long, being careful not to press the belly forward. Big breath in, and on the exhale, I'm going to hinge from the hips. Imagine keeping the spine straight. Crown of the head presses forward. You might adjust the hands and let the knees stay heavy. So be careful that we're not actively drawing the knees in. With every inhale, imagine lengthening. With every exhale, imagine softening. Keep the neck neutral so we're not letting the head hang here. One more big breath in. And on the exhale, I'm going to slowly roll back up into a seat. Beautiful. I'm going to take my feet off of the block to the floor, about hip width. I'm going to take my hands to the front of the knees. I'm going to spread the toes wide and grip the toes into the floor. I'm going to take my knuckles to the floor with the thumbs facing towards the hips, and I'm going to widen the feet mat width. Pressing into the knuckles to sit up tall, big breath in. On the exhale, both knees fall down to the left. The left heel is close to the right knee. I'm going to square up the shoulders towards the foot of the mat by maybe bending that right elbow a little bit to bring the right shoulder back. Get heavy in that right hip, right knee. Inhaling back to center. Exhale, both knees down to the right. Left hip, left knee gets heavy. I'm pressing into the hands and maybe bending that left elbow to square up towards the foot of the mat. Inhaling back to center. Exhale, both knees down to the left. I'm going to lift that right hand. I'm going to come onto the left palm, and I'm going to reach that right hand so that both hands face in the same direction. Roll the right shoulder down, deep twist on the low back, low belly, grounding down through that right knee and lengthening all the way up and out through the very top of the head. Inhaling back to center. Both knees down to the right. I'm going to lift the left hand. I'm going to come onto the right palm. Right palm is facing behind. Left hand reaches in the same direction. Roll that left shoulder back and down. Deep twist in the low back, low belly. Grounding down through that left knee and lengthening all the way up through the very top of the head. Inhaling back to center. I'm going to swing the knees around either left or right. I'm going to come into a hero's pose, sitting on the shins. Sitting up nice and tall, big breath in. On the exhale, I'm going to bring the hands to the floor. Walk the left hand over. Inhale the right arm up. And on the exhale, press to the right, reach to the left, roll that right shoulder back. Big stretch on the right side. Big breath in. Exhale, hands forward. Right hand down. Inhale that left arm up. And exhale, press to the left, reach to the right, roll that left shoulder back. Big breath in. Exhale forward. Left hand down. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, press to the right, reach to the left, right shoulder back. Big breath in, exhale forward, right hand down, left arm up, and exhale, press to the left, reach to the right. Big breath in, exhale forward, last one on the left. Big breath in, exhale forward, last one on the right. Bring those hands to the floor. We're going to come into tabletop. Hands on the floor under the shoulders, knees under the hips. I'm going to press into the hands to lift the heart space up, scoop the tailbone forward enough to take that little dip out of the low back, coming back into tabletop. Stepping the right foot forward, making sure that the right foot and the left knee are on train tracks, not on a tightrope. Right knee is over the right ankle. I'm going to slowly come up. Big breath in on the exhale. I'm going to scoop the tailbone forward for a stretch on the front of the left hip flexor, on the left quad. You can take hands to heart center, hands to the hips. You can interlace the hands behind the low back. If you need a deeper stretch here, keeping the tailbone tucked forward, make sure we don't flare it back. You can shift forward just a little. Keep that right knee over the right ankle. Big breath in. On the exhale, shift back, shoulders over hips, over left knee. I'm going to curl the left toes. Inhale the arms up. And on the exhale, I'm going to sweep the palms down and I'm going to lift that back left knee. Inhale. Reach up. Exhale. Come up. Inhale, knee down, reach up. Exhale, sweep the hands back, lift that back knee. Right knee stays over the right ankle. Inhale up, tailbone is tucked forward. Exhale, sweep the hands back, lift that back knee. Right knee stays over the right ankle. Inhale up, tailbone is tucked forward. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, bring those hands down to the floor on either side of that front right foot. Step the right knee back and the left foot forward. Left foot, right knee are on train tracks. Left knee is over the left ankle. When you're ready, slowly come on up, immediately scooping that tailbone forward, rolling the shoulders down. To deepen the stretch on the front of the right hip flexor, keeping that tailbone tucked forward, we can shift forward. Sit up nice and tall, square those shoulders up straight forward. Imagine lifting from the ribs, from the belly. If you've shifted forward, go ahead and come back, shoulders over hips over right knee. Inhale the arms up. And on the exhale, sweep the arms back, press into the right foot, lift the back right knee. Keep the left knee over the left ankle. Hips square forward, shoulders square forward. Inhale, lift those arms, drop the knee. Exhale, lift. Inhale, arms up, knee down. Exhale. Active in that back right leg. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale, arms up, knee down. Tailbone is tucked forward. Exhale, lift that back right knee. One more. Inhale up. And exhale. Inhale, bring those arms up and that knee down. And on the exhale, bring the hands down to either side of that front left foot. And we'll step that left knee back. Big breath in. On the exhale, I'm going to scoop the tailbone forward, keeping the crown of the head pressing straight forward, and float the knees off of the mat for turbo table. Keeping the knees hip width, imagine the shins are just parallel to the mat. If you'd like a little bit more quad engagement here, you can roll forward onto the very tips of the toes, bringing the knees forward just a bit. Tailbone is tucked forward, lower abs should be on. Breathe here. Big breath in. Exhale, bring those knees back down. I'm going to come down into a forearm plank position, bringing the elbows under the shoulders. Pressing into the elbows, tuck that tailbone forward. Shoot the left leg back first, and then the right. If the hips are piked up, I'm going to drop the hips in line with the shoulders. Tailbone is tucked forward, quads are on, glutes are on. I'm being careful that I'm not arching in the low back here. Press into the elbows to lift the shoulders, keep the heels over the toes. Breathe here. Big breath in. On the exhale, keeping the quads and the core on, I'm going to bend the knees and let the knees come to the floor. I'm going to squeeze the glutes and press the hips forward. I'm pressing into the elbows to lift the shoulders. The core is still on. I'm in a knees down forearm plank, but the core is still on. I'm being really careful not to sag the belly button towards the floor here, but I am engaged and very supported. Squeeze the glutes. One more breath in. And exhale, we can uncurl the toes. Send the hips down. I'm going to stay soft in the upper body for now. I want the elbows over the shoulders. If you've shifted around a little, make any adjustments you may need. You can keep your forearm plank position in the upper body. Soft between the shoulders. Find the tops of the feet, press them into the mat. The quads come on, we get this little lift in the kneecap. Squeeze the glutes, leaving the lower body set, just like that. On the next breath in, press into the elbows to lift the heart space up. And on the exhale, draw the heart space forward. Imagine dragging the elbows back towards the hips. And then find a neutral back of the neck. So I always tuck the chin towards the chest just a little and breathe here. Big stretch on the belly, really good strengthening work for the back. Obviously the quads and the glutes are in on it too. One more breath in. And exhale, you can flare the elbows out, you can stack the hands, bring the head down, and then we can soften the legs and the glutes. When you're ready, I'm going to bring the hands underneath the shoulders, curl the toes, roll the shoulders back and down. I'm going to leave the knees on the mat. I'm going to squeeze the glutes. I'm going to press into the hands, and I imagine that I kept the spine straight the whole time. I'm in a knees dropped plank position. Hold here for a few. Make sure we're not piking the tailbone up, but the glutes should be on, the core should be on, and pressing into the hands. Gripping fingertips into the mat, always pushing weight forward out of the wrists. One more breath in. And on the exhale, send the hips back. And we can walk the knees forward, coming back into a tabletop. You can take the palms to the mat, the fists to the mat. Forearms would be parallel for both of those, or you can do paper covers rock. Just like with our tabletop, I'm going to press into the elbows to engage the shoulder girdle, lifting the heart space up away from the floor, and scoop the tailbone forward until we are neutral in the low back. Press the crown of the head forward, big breath in, and on the exhale, I'm going to shift right leg back and then left. If the hips are up really high, I'm going to squeeze the glutes and drop the hips down in line with the shoulders. Keep the heels over the toes. We're not pressing back or too far forward. Pressing into the elbows. Breathe here. Quads are on, glutes are on, core is on. We're engaged in the shoulders. Big breath in. And on the exhale, I'm going to float the hips up. I'm going to walk the feet forward. I'm going to come into a dolphin. You can leave the arms in that same forearm plank position, and we're just pressing the belly towards the thighs. Make sure that we're not rounding in the shoulders here, but pressing the belly towards the thighs. Let the heels get heavy. The heels may not touch the ground. That is totally fine, but I'm not actively holding them up either. Big stretch on the back of the legs. Get nice and long, pressing into the elbows to lift from the shoulders, belly towards the thighs. Big breath in. And on the exhale, I'm going to come up onto the toes. I'm going to start to bend the knees. I'm going to drop the knees and then hover them above the floor, pressing into the elbows. Tailbone is tucked forward. Forearm plank, turbo table. Breathe here. One more big breath in, and exhale, lower those knees. I'm going to walk the knees wide. I'm going to uncurl the toes and bring the big toes to touch. I'm going to send the hips back down towards the heels. I'm going to separate the hands. I'm going to come up onto fingertips, walk the hands forward. Big stretch in the upper body. Let the hips stay heavy. One more breath in. And exhale, set those elbows down, set those hands down. Maybe they reach forward. Maybe you stack the palms under the forehead. And rest here. When you're ready, gently lift that forehead up. I'm going to uncross the hands. I'm going to bring the palms back down to the floor. I'm going to shift forward, curl those toes, walk the knees in, and I find my tabletop once again. Fingers are spread wide, knees are under the hips, toes are curled. Press into the hands, engaged in the shoulders, scoop the tailbone forward just enough to take that little dip out of the low back. Press the crown of the head forward. Big breath in. Exhale, float those knees off the mat, keeping the spine straight. If you want a little more on the quads, you can kind of roll forward onto the tippy toes, bringing those knees forward, and you'll feel quad engagement here too. The low belly should be on. Breathe here. Big breath in, and on the exhale, float the hips up and the heels back and down, and we find down dog. Fingers are spread wide and pressing into the hands to press, lift out of the shoulders, press the hips back, belly towards the thighs. The heels may not be all the way down, that's fine as long as we're not actively holding the heels up, just let them get heavy. One more breath in here. Float those heels up. On the exhale, we start to shift forward, bring those shoulders over the wrists, and we're going to bend the knees, coming back into turbo table. Knees should be hip width apart, shins are parallel to the floor, gripping the fingers into the mat, pressing into the hands, engaged in the shoulders. Make sure we're not dipping in the low back here. Press the crown of the head forward, tailbone back, breathe here. One more breath in. And on the exhale, I'm going to press into the hands, shifting the hips back. Inhale forward, turbo table, shoulders come over the wrists. Exhale, press back. Keep the shins parallel to the floor, knees hip width. Inhale forward, turbo table, shoulders come over the wrists. Exhale, press back. Keep the shins parallel to the floor, knees hip width. Inhale forward. Exhale back. 2 more if you want to stay with me. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Last one. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Knees wide, uncurl the toes. Wide like a child's pose. I'm going to come up onto fingertips. Walk those arms forward, really stretching the upper body. Let the nose, the forehead, the chin come towards the floor. It might feel good to kind of sway side to side a little bit here. Let those hips stay heavy. One more breath in. And on the exhale, let the elbows come down or stack the hands under the forehead. When you're ready, lift the forehead up. I'm going to uncross those hands. I'm going to pull up into my tabletop shape. Swing the legs around to whichever side you like, and we'll come back into a seated position. Bringing the feet all the way in until the midline touches. I'm going to take the hands to the front of the knees, sit up nice and tall, big breath in. And on the exhale, I'm going to hinge back, leaving the spine straight. But just make sure that we're not either rounding the spine or overarching in the back here. Just keeping nice and straight. Roll the shoulders down away from the ears, keep the gaze forward. Pressing the legs in towards each other will help stabilize the lower body. You might try lifting a hand off of the knee or both. You can lift the hands in line with the shoulders. A little harder will be hands up. One more breath in. Exhale, I'm going to slowly roll down. At some point, the spine will round. Just feel for that articulation in the core and in the back. I'm going to lift the feet off of the mat, bringing the knees towards the belly. I'm going to leave the big toes connected and open the knees. Reaching the arms in between, I'm going to grab the top or like the front of the ankles or the shins. I'm going to leave the big toes glued together. And I'm going to rock and roll from this position forwards and backwards until I can come up into a seat. And I'm going to try to pause with that same long spine that we just had a moment ago and the feet off the floor. I'm looking for all of my core strength and my stabilizers here. It's also a fun movement. Big breath in. Exhale. Start to rock forwards and backwards. It might take you a few to get up, which is fine. And it'll take you probably a few to find your balance. Big toes stay together. You can press the belly to the thighs to the belly, long spine, find that pause, and then roll on back down. Inhaling up. Maybe I stay for a breath or two, maybe just one. Exhale back. Inhaling up. And exhaling back. Find a pace that works for you. Maybe you do keep the feet on the floor. Maybe you start to work on lifting. Maybe your pauses get a little longer. Think about lengthening from the tailbone, those sits bones, all the way through the crown of the head. Staying open across the heart space. Beautiful. I'm going to bring the feet to the floor. I'm going to roll slowly back down. One hand to the heart, one to the belly. Feet on the floor, knees bent. Big breath in. Exhale, scoop that tailbone up. Pressing the arch in the lower back down into the floor to stretch the lumbar spine. And exhale, release. Crossing the right ankle over the left thigh. I'm going to flex the right foot, reach my right hand through the leg window, left hand outside of the left leg, or you can use a strap here, either behind the left thigh or on the front of the left shin. And I'm going to lift that left foot, interlacing the hands behind the thigh or on the front of the shin. Keep the right foot flexed, big breath in. On the exhale, press the shoulders, the neck, the head, the spine, maybe the backs of the arms and the elbows towards the floor for a deep stretch on the outside of the right leg from the hip towards the knee. Gently release. Let the left foot come down, cross the right knee on top of the left leg, bring those arms out in line with the shoulders. Big breath in, keep the shoulders heavy, and on the exhale, both knees fall to the left. You can take the left hand to the right knee if you'd like, as long as that right shoulder stays heavy, and you can look up or to the right, away from the legs. Deep twist in the low back. Imagine lengthening on this top right side from the hip down the side to the shoulder. You're also welcome to take a block or a pillow or something under the legs on that left side to help support, take a little bit of weight out of the low back. Whenever you're ready, inhale, hips to the floor, knees up. We're going to uncross the legs. Right foot to the floor, left ankle over the right thigh, keeping the left foot flexed. Strap behind the thigh, front of the right shin, or hands behind the thigh, front of the right shin. Big breath in on the exhale. Press the head, the shoulders, the spine, the backs of the arms. Maybe we bend the elbows towards the floor for a deeper stretch on the outside of the left leg from the hip towards the knee. Gently release, right foot down, left knee on top of the right. Bring those arms out into a T shape, palms down in line with the shoulders. Big breath in, and on the exhale, send both knees down to the right. If you'd like to use a prop under the legs over here on the right side, you're welcome to. You can also take the right hand to the left knee to help guide down, just as long as that left shoulder stays on the mat. You can look up or to the left shoulder on the mat. Imagine lengthening from this top left hip all the way to the left shoulder. On the next breath in, bring the neck neutral, bring the hips to the floor. I'm going to stretch the legs out long. I might take the arms, palms up. Please feel free to use your props any way you'd like. Have a deep breath in. Imagine filling up from the soles of the feet all the way to the crown of the head. And on the exhale, scanning back down the body one more time, softening as we move down on the scalp, at the forehead, the corners of the eyes, the ears, the jaw, softening down in the neck and shoulders all the way to the fingers, softening down the spine through the hips and knees all the way to the toes. Keeping the eyes closed, have a deep breath in, fill all the way up, and empty all the way out. It might feel good to start wiggling the fingers or the toes, or maybe moving the wrists or the ankles. I'm going to reach the arms out long overhead, straighten the legs, stretch, fingertips all the way to toes. And whenever you're ready, bring the feet to the floor with the knees bent. If there are any other little small movements you'd like to take as you kind of reconnect, please feel free to do so. And whenever you are ready, we'll roll onto our right side and pause for just another moment. And as you feel ready, gently make your way back upright into a seated shape. I hope you have an absolutely beautiful rest of the day.